Low self-confidence usually isn't a single feeling. It's a habit of evaluation, constantly measuring yourself against a standard and consistently finding yourself lacking. Most modern advice tries to fix this by boosting self-esteem directly, repeating affirmations, focusing on strengths, trying to feel better about yourself through sheer repetition. For a lot of people, that approach doesn't hold up under real pressure because it's built on shaky ground, self-worth still tied to external comparison and outcome. The Stoics approach this from a different angle entirely, and it's worth examining closely. Here's the core issue with most confidence-building advice. It usually still measures worth by comparison. Am I as good as smart as successful as someone else, or some ideal version of myself? That foundation is inherently unstable because comparison depends on external facts that shift constantly and were never fully within your control to begin with. The Stoics located self-worth somewhere entirely different, not in comparative outcomes, but in whether you're acting in line with your own reasoned judgment and values, regardless of how you measure up against anyone else. Marcus Aurelius wrote repeatedly about focusing on one's own character and actions rather than external validation or comparison to others. Not because comparison is morally wrong, but because it's simply the wrong foundation for something meant to be stable. This connects directly to the dichotomy of control. Whether you're smarter, more successful, or more talented than someone else is largely determined by circumstances outside your control: genetics, timing, opportunity, luck. Whether you're acting with integrity, effort, and reasoned judgment, according to your own standards, is entirely within your control, regardless of comparative outcome. Low self-confidence, from this angle, often comes from grounding your sense of worth in the wrong category, the comparative, externally determined one, instead of the internal, self-determined one. Epictetus made a related point directly. Other people's opinions of you are not up to you, and building your sense of worth on something that's not up to you guarantees instability, because that opinion can shift for reasons that have nothing to do with your actual character or effort. Here's a practical approach built on this. First, notice when your self-evaluation is running on comparison. Am I as good as them? Is a different question from, am I acting in line with my own standards? And confusing the two is where a lot of instability comes from. Second, deliberately shift the internal question. Instead of asking how you measure up against others, ask whether you're acting with the effort, honesty, and reasoned judgment you'd actually respect in yourself. Third, treat skill gaps honestly, without letting them become verdicts on your worth. You can be genuinely less skilled at something than someone else, and still be acting with full integrity and effort. The two are not the same measurement. Fourth, remember that external validation, when it comes, is welcome but was never the foundation. It's not up to you, and building your stability on something not up to you is a category error, not a moral failing, just a structural one worth correcting. This doesn't mean stop trying to improve or stop caring how you're doing. It means locating your sense of worth somewhere sturdier than comparison, and whether you're actually living up to standards you set for yourself, examined honestly. That foundation doesn't collapse when someone else does something better than you. It was never built on that ground to begin with. Measure yourself against your own standard. Let comparison inform your effort, not your worth.